Hello, this is Krista Mahon with Krista's Chalking Crew. I'm an independent designer with Chalk Couture. Today we're going to chalk this Happy Halloween, which is called the Happy Halloween Pumpkin, on the back side of this double-sided box frame. So the front side is already done. This was the fall floral frame with leaves are falling in the middle. We did a mixture of crimson, harvest, olive, shimmers, and copper. So these are made to do both sides. Okay, so on the back side of this, we're going to go ahead and put this B-size transfer Happy Halloween pumpkins, and we're going to go ahead and chalk it. So we already marked the transfer packaging, so we just peel it off. When I do this, I try to do the same direction in case someone has a wall or like a shelf that you can see from both angles. So I try to do, if it's horizontal, but you can flip it if you don't care, and this could sit vertical. We already marked the back of the transfer itself. These are used, so they get 8 to 12 uses. We're going to use our fuzzing towel here to fuzz the transfer, and the reason why we fuzz is so it doesn't stick to the surface so well that it will not come off. Okay, so we just use our fuzzing towel, and we will set that aside. So I'm just going to line this up on my mat here. And I always start from the top to the bottom to make sure I can line it up. And once I seem like I got it in the center, I will work my way from the inside out, smoothing it out to make sure there's no air bubbles and it's down nice and tight. If there are air bubbles, then what you would do is peel it back up and put it back down. If I'm a little concerned, this is a lot of silkscreen area, so if I'm concerned, I will use the flat edge of the squeegee and I will just smooth it down and make sure it's nice and tight. I picked 2 colors for tonight, so we have orange peel and then I have a green. It's called Parakeet. Parakeet was retired. It probably will come out again in the spring, or one that'll be similar to it. Right now, there's probably Springs In. That was another one that came out that kind of looks like it. So just a little bit of a different tone. When you stir your paste, I use this Chalk Couture stir sticks, but just use anything metal or plastic because they're not use wood. The wood causes the paste to dry out. You want to make sure it's like consistency of yogurt. I just added a little bit of filtered water into it to make it the right consistency. And then here's our orange peel. I'm almost out, hopefully. I might have to open another one. We'll see. So I always try to keep the edges of the paste jars clean. So I try to use my squeegee to get it off the stir stick so I don't waste a bunch. And then I'll set this in the lid for when we're ready. So I'm going to do like peel and reveal, what we call it. So I'm going to do these 2 accent pieces in green, and then we'll do the pumpkin, and then we'll do these in green. The paste dries pretty quick and the wood as well, so it's easier to go in stages. I just want to make sure I'm careful and not get the green in where I'm going to chalk the orange. So I'm going to start on this edge. Usually I start from top to bottom, but since the pumpkin takes up the majority of this, I'm going to start with this edge first and then work my way left to right. So we just squeegee it on. You want to be able to actually see what you're chalking. So you can put it on thick and then squeegee the excess off. And just keep going. I do dip a lot, but I'm not putting that much on there. Okay, so just a little tad bit. And then we want to make sure that we have all the areas covered that we want in this color. And then we're going to peel it back so it doesn't dry on us, because the pumpkin does take a little bit of time. It's quite big. So we're going to use this again, so we just set that aside. And then we are going to peel it off. I'm going to use just so it doesn't dry on us. Okay, and then we're going to use the blow dryer to dry this a little bit, and then we're going to set it back down. Okay, so we'll just dry this a little bit. blow dryer or the heat gun, you want to make sure that before you start chalking that it comes back to room temperature, and we don't push this down. Only the areas that we still need to chalk that we push down, okay? The other area will just lay there and it won't mess it up since we dried it a little bit. You always want to make sure you bring it back to room temperature before you start chalking again, because it can cause the paste to dry even quicker. So we're going to just go ahead and do the pumpkin here. I am going to put it on nice and thick. Bring it from the top to the bottom. And hopefully we have no air bubbles and it looks great. Just want to make sure I get the edges. And then we'll peel it again so we don't let the pumpkin dry. Because it can dry out on us. Got a little chunky. Just use my fingers. When you get down to the nitty gritty here, it can get a little bit bumpy on us. So I want to make sure that we don't have that happen. And then we'll peel this up again and finish our green section. I love this transfer, it's perfect. And the back side, like I said, is fall, so you can just flip it around or leave it out all year if you have somewhere that you decorate for both and you can physically see it through it. So, got some little chunkies, so use my finger. And this is a washable chalk paste. You can wash this off normal surfaces, but we're working on wood. So when you work on wood, it's pretty permanent because it gets in the grain of the wood. Okay, so I'm just easing my pressure up a little bit to smooth my lines out. And I'm going to rinse my fingers off because I got it all over, which is normal for me. And then we will peel it and then dry and then finish with the green. Okay, so we will, nice. Okay, so I'm just going to hold that, get the blow dryer. It doesn't have to be all the way dry, just so it's not tacky. And then we're going to put this back down and not push it back down, just lay it. Okay, so we will have to get these lined back up. I'm going to take the flat edge of the next squeegee and I'm going to just like push it down. So, and I'm going to start from one end to the other. So we make sure we don't have bubbles. And make sure there doesn't pick up any colors of the other colors in case you hit it. Okay, so back down again. So let's get our green and start chalking the other side. So we'll dip our green in. You could use a garden herb on this one too. I think that would look good. It is the darker side, so on the darker side of the double-sided frame, it's important to use bolder colors or lighter colors. Darker colors don't show up as well. So it's always best to use lighter colors or bold. If you get it on the wood, you can clean it off if it's fresh. It is harder to clean off darker colors though than lighter colors off the wood. Just make sure we got everything covered. Didn't miss anything. Okay, and we will peel the rest of the way off. And voila. So you have the Happy Halloween pumpkin. To wash the transfers, we just use a bath of water. I have an aluminum pan. And you just use your fingertips and get the excess paste off. And then you'll use a board eraser or a Clorox wipe, a Lysol wipe, to wash the back and front. And you always want to dry sticky side up. Then that helps prevent it to stick to whatever you're drying to. And then you will put it right back on the transfer backing and then the packages. And then it's ready to go for the next usage. They highly recommend don't put them in the water too long. So rinse them and wipe them as soon as you put them in the water. That's most beneficial for the transfer, so it gets the usage 8 to 12 times on average. Thank you for joining me today, and this is the Happy Halloween pumpkin on the double-sided box frame. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.